The doors to the Celestial Harmonies mess hall hissed open, and every conversation died instantly. Lisa Chen walked in with her usual confident stride. Her auburn hair pulled back in a practical ponytail, her Earthfleet uniform crisp despite the day's exertions. That wasn't what caused the silence. Behind her, padding on massive paws, came 3 adolescent Crithian predators, each the size of a Terran tiger, their obsidian scales gleaming under the artificial lights, rows of crystalline teeth visible as they panted. Commander Velthar, a Zephyrian whose 4 eye stalks all swiveled toward the entrance simultaneously, dropped his nutrient cube. "By the ancients," he whispered. Lisa grabbed a tray and moved toward the food dispensers as if nothing was unusual. The 3 Crithians followed in perfect formation, their tail blades capable of shearing through titanium tucked close to their bodies in a submissive posture. "Morning, everyone," Lisa said cheerfully, loading her tray with what the other species had learned to call human fuel. Dense proteins, complex carbohydrates, and an alarming amount of caffeine. Lewis Park, the ship's xenobiologist and Lisa's colleague, sat at their usual table with his tablet, though his hands had frozen mid-swipe. His dark eyes were wide behind his glasses. Lisa, those are Crithian juveniles." "Yep." She sat down across from him. The 3 predators immediately arranged themselves around her in a protective triangle, their heads swiveling to scan the room. Several crew members edged toward the exits. Crithians who, need I remind you, are classified as Category 5 apex predators, Lewis continued, his voice strained. The species that nearly wiped out the Feln colonies. The ones were explicitly forbidden from approaching within 50 meters. Lisa took a bite of her protein bar. "They're harmless." "Harmless?" Velthar's voice cracked across 3 octaves. "Security!" His manipulator tentacles reached for his communicator. "Wait." Lisa held up a hand. One of the Crithians, the largest with a distinctive white streak across its snout, made a low thrumming sound and pressed its massive head against her shoulder. She scratched behind its auditory ridge without looking. "Let me explain." The security team arrived, stun weapons drawn, but held position at the doorway. Captain Roden, a towering Brenthix with exoskeletal armor, pushed through. "Miss Chen, explain now." Lisa stood slowly, keeping her movements calm. The Crithians rose with her but didn't show aggression. 3 days ago, the away team encountered these cubs during the botanical survey on Crithios 4. They'd been separated from their pack, probably by the territorial dispute we detected from orbit. "We established that Crithios the 4 was too dangerous for ground surveys," Rodan said, his mandibles clicking with agitation. "You established that," Lisa corrected. "I went anyway." Lewis covered for me. She shot her colleague a grateful look. Lewis buried his face in his hands. "The cubs were starving," Lisa continued. "Crithian society is rigid. Lone cubs don't get adopted. They were already showing signs of cascading organ failure. I couldn't just leave them." "So you, a human, decided to rescue 3 juvenile apex predators?" Velthar's eye stalks quivered with disbelief. "I gave them emergency rations. Turns out Crithians can metabolize human protein bars." Lisa shrugged. "After that, they just followed me. I tried to send them away, but they wouldn't go. Crithians imprint on their pack leaders early. I guess I became their pack leader." "That's impossible," hissed Srath, the ship's Feln medical officer from across the room. Her scales had paled to near white with fear. "Crithians only follow strength. They challenge authority constantly. They kill those they perceive as weak." "Maybe." Lisa walked toward Srath slowly. The Crithians moved with her, still in formation. Other crew members scrambled back, but Lisa kept coming until she stood a meter from the medical officer. "Or maybe they recognize something you don't." She turned to face the room, one hand resting casually on the white-streaked Crithian's head. "Humans raised apex predators for thousands of years. We turned wolves into dogs. We domesticated cats, animals that chose to live with us not because we dominated them, but because we offered partnership. We bonded with horses, falcons, even reptiles." Lewis finally found his voice. "Lisa's right, actually. Human evolutionary history is unique in the known galaxy. We're simultaneously prey and predator. We have forward-facing eyes for hunting, but we're hunted ourselves for millions of years. We developed pack-bonding instincts that cross species barriers. These cubs," Lisa continued, scratching the nearest one under its chin, "they don't need a dominator. They need a pack. Leadership, yes, but also care, protection, teaching. She looked at Captain Rodan directly. They're orphans, Captain. And they're just kids. The white-streaked Crithian made a sound. Not aggressive, but mournful. It pressed closer to Lisa's leg. The mess hall remained silent for a long moment. Finally, Captain Rodan's mandibles relaxed slightly. You realize this violates approximately 47 regulations? 49, actually, Lewis muttered. I checked. And you? The captain turned to Lewis. Uncovered for this? She's my partner, Lewis said simply. My team. When Lisa gets one of her feelings about something, she's usually right. He looked at the Crithians, then back at Lisa. Even when it's terrifying. Captain Rodan studied the scene, the human woman standing calmly among three predators that could tear her apart, the way the creatures deferred to her without being cowed, the protective formation that suggested not domination but genuine pack cohesion. Humans, he said finally, with something that might have been admiration, are the strangest species in the Federation. Thank you, sir, Lisa said brightly. That wasn't a compliment. But Rodan's tone had softened. Keep them out of engineering. And for the ancients' sake, feed them properly, not human rations. As the captain left and the room slowly returned to normal, Lewis joined Lisa at their table. The Crithians settled around them, and gradually a few brave crew members approached to observe the impossible sight. You're insane, Lewis said affectionately. Lisa grinned. They're my team now, just like you. One of the Crithians yawned, displaying teeth that could crush bone, and rested its head on Lisa's boot. Humanity, the galaxy was learning, didn't just survive. They adopted.